Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the It Doesn't Matter podcast. And we've got myself, Strapfax, aka, well, my real name's John. We've got
Abel, aka Papi Platano, also known as the Dominican Dream, baby.
there he is. And the host of the show, we've got
I am the notorious one. I am Dom. Where's my hand? Boom. There we go. We're streaming, baby. We streaming.
We're getting a little wacky today because we're covering a wacky pay-per-view known as ECW Barely Legal 1997. I believe it's the only one. So there you have it. But this is a pay-per-view that, it's got a legendary status, a legendary history, but in some manners, it was kind of difficult to watch, but we will get into that momentarily. But let's go with the lineup of the show. Dom, what do we have going on with ECW Barely Legal 1997?
So this is the first ECW pay-per-view of all time. There's no more Eastern Championship Wrestling. We're going to the extreme. This is Extreme Championship Wrestling. Shout outs to all our ECW fans. Dante, you wanted some ECW content? This one's for you, buddy. So the show kicks off with Joey Styles in the middle of the ring, and the fans are hot. They're chanting ECW, and them tag team champions, them dastardly Dudley boys of Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley come out with Sign Guy Dudley and Joel Gertner.
The quintessential stud muffin.
The quintessential stockholder.
The fans are hot. They're chanting F you, Devon, and Devon is preaching and call them inbreds.
Oh.
You're hot garbage. Then Joel Gertner introduced the Dudleys, and their opponent for the tag team championships is the Eliminators of Perry Saturn and Cronus. John, who the hell is Cronus? And where the hell is he at right now?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to ask that.
I mean, the Eliminators were, a lot of my knowledge from ECW at the time came from Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine because, we didn't, living in Connecticut, we didn't have access to ECW. I mean, and we're at that age where, we didn't have any money and internet wasn't a thing. So you had no access to ECW except for what you saw in magazines. So that's where I learned about the Eliminators. That's where I learned about Saturn and Cronus. Cronuts. I don't really know what the hell happened to this guy. But he was great as the first matchup would indicate. They were a pretty good actor, pretty good wrestler, and they were definitely over with the crowd. And of course, again, they were 3 times tag team champions after this little matchup, and he just disappeared. This was ECW. It was the distant third brand in the Monday Night Wars. And I'm not really sure what happened to this guy. And he just got lost to the annals. I always know when I say that word, the annals of history.
Annals of history.
Annals. Yeah, we always say annals.
Listen.
Extreme, baby.
Extreme it is.
Notorious. But
the Eliminators had quite a good, awesome finishers. The version of the high-low. They clipped the opponent's legs from the front, and I know from the back. And I think Saturn did that, the leg sweep, and then Cronus did the leg lariat to the top. And they did this to Joel Gertner, the stockholder, before the match began, and then they had the match with Bubba Ray and Devon. And like I said, it was just it was a quick little opening match. They were over, and the crowd loved the Eliminators, and they were very happy when they won. So it was a feel-good moment to kick off the ECW pay-per-view. So
you're being too bashful. From what I've seen, the Eliminators dominated that whole damn match. Seemed like the Dudleys had no offense whatsoever. Cronus was out there looking like a cruiserweight. Saturn, like I said before in previous shows, I don't know why Saturn didn't get the push. Maybe because he can't talk or whatnot. But the way Saturn went, Saturn got busy back in the day, especially at that time of ECW. They were over. The fans was hot, and that what's it called? Total Elimination. That shit was dope. At that time in 1997, you ain't see stuff like that.
That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And, my favorite game, playing to the future. Where would Saturn be in just 3 years?
Hell, where was Saturn be in a year? Actually, was he in WCW in 1998?
Well, FWCW. We're talking about the WWF, brother. The Radicals debuted in WWF. All right. But just think about that era of time and that in the entire amount of time that Roman Reigns has been the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, Saturn had careers in 3 major pro wrestling companies.
Not 1, not 2, 3.
That's right. Triple threat, which would be
so this is where AEW get their tag team division from, because they do tornado style. So let's just play it out like that. There was not one damn tag in this whole match.
Yeah, that's what confused the hell out of me. I was like, is this tornado tag? Is this regular tag? I don't think I was. I've heard of ECW and I watched a little bit here and there, but I wasn't totally invested in it just because, like you said, being in Connecticut, you couldn't catch it all the time and you couldn't follow it because you're up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just to even watch an episode. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, is there a tag? Did the bell not ring, or what is going on? And like you said, the Dudleys like taking the L like that. I'm not used to that, especially those guys. I was like, wow. Were they getting ready to leave?
No, not this time.
Not yet.
They wouldn't leave for like another year, right? Or close to about.
I think it was like 99 or so they left. I want to say like 2 more years.
99.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn the Dudleys showed up in like late 98 going into the early 99.
No.
God damn it.
Sorry about your damn luck.
I guess my mind was
like I said,
totally eliminated.
Oh,
that's it. So this is for the tag team titles. Yes, this is for the tag titles. The Eliminators won the tag titles, and Joel Gurn at the end of the match, he tried to explain that the Dudleys won by the stud muffin scoring system. But the Eliminators, they didn't care. And they hit him with the total elimination, and boom, there you go. The Eliminators, your new tag team champions at Barely Legal. That's how you kick off 1997, their first pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm a little lost. Didn't that happen in the beginning of the match, or was that the end of the match?
That was the end of the match.
That was the end of the match.
Who did they do the total elimination to in the beginning? Oh, was it?
It was
Sign Guy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sign Guy Dudley. Yeah, I was Sign Guy.
So Sign Guy first, and then it was Gertner.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
that was 3 total eliminations.
That's true.
Yes.
Fabulous.
All right. So after this, we get Chris Candido. If you guys don't know who Chris Candido is, he was in WWF and WCW later on in his career. He was Skip. I was going to say Sonny, but no, he was Skip.
He was in Sonny.
That damn cook. Anyways, he showed up in the middle of the ring. He had a sling. He talked about a year before then that he was in WrestleMania with his tag team partner, Dr. Tom, and he's with somebody that he can't name. Everybody knows it was Sonny. And that he wanted to be at this first ECW pay-per-view. But due to injury, it is what it is. At some point in this show that he is going to be, involved in one of these matches.
Yep.
And that's what happened. Damn, Chris.
Damn.
So after this, we have Lance Storm with the rat tail, blonde rat tail, that is.
That's right.
That confused the hell
and the
out
whole effing show, Rob Van Dam.
That's right. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yep, Lance Storm coming out to some theme song. Sound like it's a generic theme song.
That was his original. I will say his original ECW theme music only because they used it at One Night Stand, the first One Night Stand. So, as far as I know, that was his music and RVD's music. Oh my goodness! Of course, he probably came out to Walk by Pantera, his ECW theme, but they played some Beach Boys knockoff, something that sounded nothing like it. It was amusing to listen to. It's so corny.
It's trash.
Oh my god, it was trash. But yeah, that was I was excited to hear that Lance Storm coming out to his original music. generic as it was. That was fun, and I'm a fan of Lance Storm, so this is one of the more memorable matches that I can recall from the pay-per-view, because it was of course it's ECW's debut on pay-per-view, but it's also Rob Van Dam's it was everyone's ECW debut. So
debut. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is also remembered for featuring the weakest chair shots in recorded history.
My God.
I was going to
get to that. All right. So when Rob Van Dam came out to the ring, the fans chanted, "You sold out." Strap. Is this this is when he showed up on Raw a couple times?
Yeah, it's hard to remember sometimes, but if you're playing roles here at playing history, then yeah, this was coming out the time that ECW invaded the Manhattan Center, and they kind of took over the show. And I remember as a kid not liking any of it, because I was like, "Who the hell are these guys?" And I don't care. Yeah. But we do remember Sabu jumping off the Raw logo, so that was
I did like that.
Correction, Sabu fell off the Raw logo.
Who's covering for who? Who's being generous now? Yeah, RVD was hooked up with Jerry the King Lawler, and actually, no. Who was he feuding? Who were they feuding with? It was RVD and Jerry Lawler versus
RVD. Who's in his corner? Yeah.
Yep.
Versus who? I don't know. The whole
Tommy Dreamer.
I don't feel like Tommy was there.
I thought they had a match.
Tommy showed up. I don't remember the match, but I know Tommy.
Yeah,
he was in the talks. So.
But RVD was making he was on Monday Night Raw, and he was having an angle saying he preferred to be on Mr. Monday Night, where he got paid more.
Yes.
Basically, kind of like how Miro in AEW actually feels. Like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. I belong in the big leagues. This place sucks. But I think RVD was just playing a character, and Miro actually believes it. So anyway. So this match right here, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. And I thought to myself as I was rewatching this match, like, can you believe Rob Van Dam was in WCW maybe like 2-3 years before this? Think about everyone that was in WCW 2 or 3 years prior.
He went against Vinny Vegas at that time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Robbie V.
Yeah, Robbie V versus Vinny Vegas.
Yeah.
Undertaker, Mankind, Stone Cold, everybody, man. Goldust. They had the whole roster. They just swapped it. And there you go.
They gave them better characters, and McMahon just knew what to do with certain guys. And WCW was like, well, this is what your pay is. That's what we're going to stick you at. You are not going to move up in the card until we feel like it. And that was it. That's fucked up, man. You're stuck because of that. I understand why Vince was loved at that time for giving these guys opportunity. But let's get back to the match, man.
But for fans that not familiar with old school ECW like we're covering today, or not familiar with Rob Van Dam, go watch this match between him and Lance Storm, because you see two different styles clashes, and Rob Van Dam, anything this man did, the fans were in awe. When he went for that top rope dive, everybody stood up on their feet.
Yep.
And they were in awe, man. But did you guys see when Rob Van Dam threw Lance Storm to the corner, and Lance Storm ran back, and then Rob Van Dam just threw the damn chair right in his face? Oh my God, man.
That could have been really bad. The corner of that chair could have just cracked them wide open, man. I know that it's different times, and the parameters of matches were different, but you have no control of that shit when you're throwing it like that, man.
I think Lance was taking better care of RVD than RVD was taking care of him. But anyone notice that RVD looks a little bit off in his ring attire, because he didn't wear like those bicycle shorts underneath his tights, his singlet. So his singlet looks like it's very high up, and his later look, he'd wrap his hands with black tape, and then he'd also wear those black shorts underneath. Just a little look, appearance change for Rob Van Dam.
Strap, question. I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions with this ECW show.
Okay.
So when was Chris Jericho in ECW?
Like you hear the stories of like, hey, Psychosis and Rey Mysterio, Eddie and Dean. They're all there around 1995. So that's when they were in ECW. So that's when Jericho was there, and even lots of people spent time, at least one match in ECW. Even Ron Simmons, damn, yes, he was there in ECW for a little bit before they signed contracts with WCW or WWF. So, yeah, that's when he was there. He was still doing his Lionheart gimmick in Mexico. So yeah, I would say right around 1995, 94, 95.
Was Lance Storm ECW at the time too in 95, or this like his first time?
The Lance Storm was pretty new at the time. Lance Storm and Jericho, I think in 94 they're still they were just teaming in Smoky Mountain.
Yeah. The Thrill Seekers, something like that.
Yeah, so for Lance Storm, I think he was just still being a journeyman, and he might have started becoming more of a full-time guy in ECW in 96. But they were never together in ECW, as best as I can remember. So
no, they weren't.
No Thrill Seekers there.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because I know their career was parallel and whatnot. They was in Smoky Mountain. I know they were both in ECW, but I just did not know when Lance Storm got the call to go to ECW.
Never the two shall meet. I mean, they were joined. They trained together. They came up in the business together, but they separated, kind of like Ultimate Warrior and then Sting. They were a tag team early in the career, but it was a very short period of time, and they separated and went their own ways, had their own big careers, of course. But then people were like, hey man, aren't you guys like best friends from back in the day? And like, not really. We were roommates, we shaved each other's backs. Something like that.
Did they use Nair
for men? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. So the finish of the match, we see Rob Van Dam hit the Van Daminator, which is, for those people that don't know, RVD throws the chair to the opponent. The opponent catches the chair. He hits a spinning wheel kick, hits the chair. That's your Van Daminator. And then he did a moonsault, which wasn't even necessary. And RVD with the 1, 2, 3, and he got the win. After the match, Lance Storm offers RVD a handshake, but RVD gets on the microphone. He says, by beating Lance Storm, he's worth more money here and more money elsewhere.
Yep.
And the fans start chanting, "Get the fuck out!"
Yeah. RVD was quite verbose at the time when he spoke from the heart, and when he was giving things more to say than just cool and whatever. He actually could cut a promo. So
yeah. So what do you guys rate that match? This is our second match of the night. What do you think? You guys enjoy it? Did you guys hate it, or does it matter?
No, I liked it. But I mean, besides those chair shots that were so weak, it's like, what the hell were you doing? Hogan, I don't know which was worse, his or Hogan's. They were still terrible. But
lay it in, brother.
But you can see some of that Calgary training that he got from the Hart Foundation. I mean, not Hart, the Hart family. Very secure. They're very, very good, very safe. Every movement made sense, but I don't know. But then you got Rob Van Dam's just wild style moveset is just crazy. It's a difference of fighting styles, but I don't know. Something about that Calgary training that these guys get. I like it. Brett, Owen, Bulldog, those matches always just make sense when they're in it.
Benoit,
yeah, Jericho.
It's a whole murderer's row, some would say. Don't you dare. It's Dom's boy. But no, this match definitely does matter. Like I said, it's featuring two young athletes just starting their careers, and they would go on to bigger and better things. I know you're trying to cut me off, guys, but the fact remains that this match does matter in the annals of pro wrestling history in ECW Barely Legal. Lance Storm, RVD, two young stallions. And they would go on, so they would just be great athletes. And, I have both of their action figures, huh? And I have not sold them on eBay. Not yet.
Not autographs yet?
Autographs?
Yeah.
That's tomorrow. No.
That was last week.
No, I have these figures. They're loose, baby. They're loose. I got them from Figures Inc. I bought all the ECW figures, and RVD was like my favorite figure. And yeah, that's a whole other subject for Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder to mull over. So,
but do you have New Jack?
I have New Jack, and when he, I kept all the original packaging. So I opened the figure, and I would still have the card back and the little plastic thing. And those figures came with little stickers. A bunch of stickers or trading cards. And when New Jack passed away, there's no more opportune time to sell your action figure that you have in your collection than when one of them passes away.
Wow.
And I had that for New Jack, and it was actually going for quite a hefty penny, but I waited too long, and the prices have settled down. And I guess I'll just hold on to it until the next New Jack big story happens, whatever that may be.
I don't think so. I think they're done with that.
Yeah, I mean, he just had the Dark Side of the Ring episode, and then he passed away shortly after that.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Well, all right, our next match, we have an international 6-man tag. We have the Japanese BWO of Taka Michinoku, Terry Boy, I can't say his name, and Dick to Go. versus the great Sasuke, Grand Hamada, and Yakuji, whatever his name is.
God bless you.
Sorry, my headphones cut out. What was all that again? Yakuji.
Yakuji.
Suck it to me.
No, he's on next week's
John,
show.
Which one's the Green Power Ranger?
All right.
That wasn't the great Sasuke. I know that.
No, I know Sasuke. Sasuke had the all black on with the mask and the cape.
So the only ones I knew in this matchup were Taka Michinoku, the great Sasuke, and Dick Togo, because Dick Togo is still around. He's in the House of Torture stable in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Wow.
And he was also in the original Kai and Tai. But those are the only ones I knew. They had this dude. They had this guy. He dressed up in green and white. He did look like a Power Ranger, and all the fans were, of course, chanting Power Ranger at him. And then he had this other guy. I think his name was Grand Hamada, maybe. I'm not sure.
Hamada.
Grand Hamada. I heard of that name. I don't really know much about him, but they said, "Oh, look at this." He looked old, but he was like 45, and which is commonplace for wrestlers nowadays. Damien Priest is only 3 years away from that. But yeah, this was a 6-man tag team match, promotion versus promotion, I think, or was it Michinoku Pro versus Michinoku Pro. And they were the if this was currently, they'd be the the hot indie Japanese group like All Japan, or All Japan is not a Japanese indie, but like a Dragon Gate, I guess.
Okay.
But this match featured a lot of quick action, the likes that no one had really seen in America at that point. And just watching this, and I was ashamed at my lack of knowledge of who these guys were. But some of the guys weren't. The Green Power Rangers, a little impressive, but I still would never remember him, and I never saw him again. So never mind.
I seen him. I thought that was Jimmy Wang Yang. That's what I thought it was at first.
I didn't think so. I mean, I know. I did hear of the great Sasuke, though. I've seen him here and there.
Yeah.
Dick to
Heard
Go.
of Grand Hamada too.
Yeah, Dick to Go. I've heard him in previous fucking.
Yeah, he's been everywhere.
He'll go anywhere for the right fee.
Just got Uber it for you, ladies. Oh.
Yeah, and Terry Boy, he's a big Terry Funk fan.
Ah, yes, Terry Boy.
I forgot. What's his real name?
Ryan Smith.
I can't think of his real name. Yeah, sure.
But Terry Boy's pretty cool, though, so there you go.
Yeah.
But it was an entertaining match. I enjoyed it. Like the BWO Japanese version, the Taka's group, they were over. And I was very surprised that they lost the match. I'm very surprised about that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Taka took the loss too. He got the pin, or he got pinned.
I think Sasuke was like really big in that time during that era. I don't know how how important he was to the Japanese culture at that time with certain wrestling. It's basically like maybe like their Okada or maybe the smaller version of it.
Sasuke?
I think so. If I recall that back then he was like one of their more famous wrestlers, so they kept him strong a lot.
Well, this is all hearsay because I don't know for sure, but there's these clips that were passed forth online. So the great Sasuke was going one-on-one with a very notorious Japanese light heavyweight named Jushin Thunder Liger.
Ah, yes, yes.
So you have allegedly, like a mainstream, like a main promotion talent like Jushin Thunder Liger, of New Japan Pro Wrestling, going off against this independent upstart known as the Great Sasuke, and the Great Sasuke botched a move, and so Jushin Thunder Liger's like, see, he really did these mannerisms. Like, see, look at this guy. You guys think he's great. You guys think he's this Will Ospreay guy. You think he's so awesome. He just botched a move. But then Jushin, it was like maybe it was a spot because then like Great Sasuke rolled him up like in a small package and got a near fall on him. So I'm not really sure what that was about. It's one of those things you see online. Someone writes a description and you just believe that description. You don't know the backstory behind it. But that's what I believe about the Great Sasuke is that he was just a popular independent talent, but maybe not as good as the major league guys. So there's your bias from the late 90s.
So after this, did Taka get signed to WWF?
Yeah, they had a match at the Calgary Stampede, and that led to Taka and the WWF starting a light heavyweight division featuring the likes of Scott Taylor and Brian Christopher and Crowbar, Devin Storm, and so many great cruiserweights. Sure.
That was basically their
super crazy.
Super loco, yeah.
Super loco, yeah.
Yeah, that was so stupid. That was their answer to the WCW cruiserweight at that time.
So dumb.
It was not even close, man. I got to give it to Eric at that time. He had the right wrestlers for that division at the time, and WWE was never going to push the light heavyweights. No matter what Vince had in mind, he was never light heavyweight. Fuck that.
Yeah, Vince stole everybody from ECW, or Eric stole everybody from ECW, and Vince stole everybody from Smoky Mountain
or WCW.
Big circle.
Not for the light heavyweight, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about main stars.
Yeah,
like Bobby Fulton.
But I enjoyed the match. The only thing I did not like about the match was the camera angles. Like, this match was fast paced, and the cameras wasn't picking up. Like, it was just too much going on at the time. They were so zoomed out, or you missed like a spot on the outside of the ring. There's a lot of commotion going on out there.
Well, that's probably why, like, they say the best promotion for that is WWE, because they usually run down and talk to these guys, say, hey, what spot are you going to do so we can highlight that? And back in the days, a lot of guys just called their matches. They didn't tell these guys or the camera guys or the production, hey, we're going to do this, that, and the third. They just went out and just did whatever they felt like. It did take away from the match a little bit for me because, like you said, when the camera angles, it's like, I missed this spot or another spot. But good fast-paced match between six guys. It was crazy here and there. I lost track of what was going on, but it was good for what it was for that time.
I thought it went a little long for me, but that's what I felt about a lot of the matches on the show.
Yeah.
It did.
Like, it's good, but I'm a little tired of it now.
Yeah,
I agree. All right, but our next match, we have the franchise of ECW. You have Shane Douglas with his head cheerleader, Francine, who Joey Styles called a hussy, going against Pitbull number 2, Gary Wolf. Is for your TV title. Jesus. And Francine came out in her Victoria's Secrets, showing the secrets. I see why college kids like ECW back in the day, because you see shit like that.
Yeah.
For $19.99 on pay-per-view.
Francine was all the way live because she had you going.
Strong cheekbone.
I see. So Shane Douglas gets on the microphone and tells everybody that you are looking at greatness. You are looking at him, and he's calling all the other people from other organizations a PUSSY, and that they won't show up.
Of course not.
And
like you're calling out guys that you know they can't contractually be there. Like you're an idiot.
This man was a school teacher. Next thing he became the franchise in ECW. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas is a guy. He was very popular for his time because he was that character that, you know, a certain kind of fan got behind. And he's just another guy that's, you know, kind of like when Adam Pearce was, you know, still wrestling. And, you know, this is when he was in Ring of Honor. And he would cut these promos. And it's like, listen, man, Adam Pearce, I know you know how to talk. You talk well. You have a continuous train of thought, unlike me just now. But that's great. But still, no one likes you, and you're just good at talking. But it doesn't mean you're saying anything that anyone wants to hear. But that's who Shane Douglas was, and he got famous for saying famous names in his promos on ECW, and the fans liked it. It's like, oh my god, he's such a badass. Yeah, he's calling out Ric Flair all the time. It's like Ric Flair ain't gonna come to ECW. You know, he doesn't want to play bingo. You know, so that's who Shane Douglas was.
Might need to pay that.
But that's what Shane Douglas was at the time. He was just a shit talker, and Paul Heyman liked him for that because that's what you did in ECW. If you were a great talker, they would put you on, you would get over, and that's who he was. And eventually he would go to WCW, return to WCW, and he'd finish out his time there, and he sucked there too. So I'm just not a fan of Shane Douglas. So
yeah.
Why is he blackballed from the business now? Do you know?
It's because the Click didn't like him.
Pretty much.
Sean didn't like him. Razor didn't like him. So that's why he's blackballed.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe all those promos were real. They really did not like any of these guys. And they're like, all right, well, we have control over everything. Fuck you too.
Well, he was a one-time Intercontinental Champion, maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah, because Sean vacated the title for some reason.
Because he got beat up by 5 Boy Scouts.
And he lost his smile.
Not yet.
Not that time.
Oh, damn it.
All right, so this fight against the Pitbull number 2, Gary Wolf.
Oh.
It's because Shane broke Pitbull number 1's neck. And then so Pitbull tried to get retribution for his friend. Man, franchise, he was ruthless in this match. He's trying to break this man's neck, hit this man with 3 consecutive pile drivers.
Yep.
This match was ugly. Like Gary Wolf had franchise, and like it seemed like he slipped, and franchise went through a table over the top rope. That should look terrible.
Because Shane Douglas is terrible.
It didn't do nothing for me. This match, it was too long for one. I think it should went over 20 minutes.
It didn't need all that.
And then when Shane went to over the top rope, Gary Wolf with the broken neck, or the Pitbull 1 with the broken neck, got involved. Next thing, the Riot Squad and his personal security came through and escorted this dude out. And then Francine gave this dude like some brass knucks, and he hit him twice, and the dude kicked out. Then she gave him like a piece of wood, and then he kicked out. And then he goes for the chair, and then after the chair, instead of him trying to pin him, he tried to go to get the chain from his boot. This dude just stops him, and it was just too much. It was a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's another thing of like someone not booking properly or not having a proper ending to a match that should have just ended maybe 15 minutes in, not even 10 minutes in. 1, 2, 3, 10. Like you're the TV champion. 10-minute draw. That's it. Boom, boom, go home.
like, are you trying to push this guy? Because this guy's not doing nothing. Like, all right, you ain't doing shit. Let's finish this. Let's go home.
Yeah, just go home. Yeah, give more time to the main event.
Well, the match ended with a wrestling hold, so the fans should be happy, right? It's like having a hardcore match, and the match ends with a backslide.
Ooh.
Well, he won the overhead belly to belly for the win. But after the match, a masked man comes out and he says, I'll take my mask if you give me your girl. So we see somebody dressed as Rick Rude, had the mask on, had the ravishing Rick Rude robe on. He gets in the ring and he stops swapping spit with Francine. And then Shane Douglas clocks him. But a security guard takes his helmet off and it comes to be Rick Rude. And yeah, Rick Rude. And the guy under the mask is Brian Lee, which was the fake Undertaker in 1994 at SummerSlam. And yeah. What happened to Rick Rude after this? I know where he ended up.
Just like you're talking about, Jericho and those other guys in '95. ECW was a stopgap for certain people. People like Scott Hall would pass through there a little bit. Psycho Sid, that big dummy, he'd go through there a little bit. Bam Bam Bigelow, he'd have a longer stretch of time in ECW. But it was like prison. Everyone had to do their time in ECW, and so did Ravishing Rick Rude on his way to his death. Just kidding. He was on his way to be Shawn Michaels' bodyguard in D-Generation X, and then WCW. But yeah, they were just in it. They're off contract. They probably got done being paid with their Lloyd's of London health insurance, and they just were looking for a brief payday and to make an appearance on a big deal pay-per-view. So there you go. There's Ravishing Rick Rude, and of course Rick Rude, a member of the Dangerous Alliance, managed by who? Some Hall of Fame guy,
Paul Lee.
Who knows what the connection is?
I wonder.
Yes. Moving on.
All right, this
Calling
right here
Rick
might
Rude.
be dead. Anyways,
Someone's not amused.
Our next match is probably the match of the night. We have Taz with Bill Alfonso going against Sabu, and this rivalry takes place because Taz broke Sabu's neck. What, almost 2 years ago or so?
Well, they were tag team partners, pal.
He was part of Bill Alfonso's team, right? He was coaching him.
What was it called? Team? It wasn't Team Taz. What was the name of the team?
I don't think they had a name.
No, they don't have. I don't think they did. But yeah, he broke his neck. Fucking was it the Tazplex or T-bone?
They're all Tazplexes.
Yeah, the T-bone, the Tazplex, the Kajimaji Hame, whatever you want to call it.
I don't want to call it that.
As long as it's not called kimchi.
Hey,
I like kimchi.
It's good for your sister.
All right. But if you want to see a physical match, watch this match between Taz and Sabu. It was going through tables. Taz was dropping Sabu on his neck. Sabu with the Arabian guillotine, Arabian spine buster, Arabian flags, all that stuff. It was a crazy time. It's funny back in the day in the 90s that everybody had a move and it was named after them.
Air Sabu.
Diamond Cutter, Arabian, what's it called? Tazplex.
The Shawn Michaels are.
No.
The Rocker Dropper.
That was actually pretty crazy.
The Rude Awakening. Oh,
Rude Awakening.
That was good though.
Stone Cold Stunner.
Stone Cold Stunner.
A Rock Bottom.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Rock Bottom. $1 Million Dream.
And if you're a blue blood, the pedigree.
Yes. And so many more names. It's fabulous. But what are we talking about?
Well, Taz
and Sabu. Yes, a long-lasting blood feud. Yeah. For a match, and it was the right place for it. This long-running serious feud between Sabu and Taz, and it was a major selling point for this pay-per-view, and had a little heat to it. But maybe that's because everyone was so focused on the action.
Yeah.
It was a spot fest.
That's a spot fest.
That was good.
No, yeah, I really like Taz as part of Bill Alfonso as with Team Taz. But toward the end of the match, we know what would happen: a turn of some sort, because it was a turn. Bill Alfonso putting money on the wrong guy to win the match. So he had a turn on Taz because he cost him a lot of money because he picked the other guy to win, Sabu. But that led to a whole new angle. But the match was intense and it was in high demand. But maybe it fell below expectations just a little bit. But it would have a great post-match angle that would feed the company for many months and years to come, for a little while anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Our next match. We have Tommy Dreamer coming out on commentary with Joey Styles. Oh, yeah, guys. Joey Styles is the voice of ECW. He's the one-man band, baby.
Uh-huh.
Except for WWF.
Oh, boy.
But, so we have I take it back. Not no triple threat match. We have a three-way dance.
Hey.
And the winner of this match will face Raven for the World Heavyweight Championship, the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
Night. Immediately after.
That night. Yes. So we have the leader of the BWO, Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
Taking on that drunk, the Sandman.
Stone Cold Steve Sandman.
That's it. And we got the hardcore legend, the icon, the man, Terry Funk.
The Terry Funk. Not a boy. Merely a man. The man.
So before we get into this match,
God damn it, Dom.
There's no Enter the Sandman.
Oh, I fast forwarded it. I love that entrance, but I was fast forwarding it. It's not the same, man. Need that. That cheap ass song. I was just like, ugh. Next. And then you got the Funker.
Yeah, the Funker just doing what he's doing. I don't know how old he was at this time, but
53.
All right, so wow.
53. Right now, so he's
still hardcore.
So he at that time, he's probably wrestling around the same age that Jericho is right now. Jericho's about 52, 53 right now.
6 degrees of separation, like John always says. Everything about this show goes back to Chris Jericho.
There you go.
Gotcha.
The GOATs. All right, so for this match, the Sandman threw a ladder in the ring. Of course, the old man, Terry Funk, has to climb up it, and he did an ugly-ass moonsault. That's thank God for Stevie to brace his fall. Oh,
no, he didn't break shit. Terry ate all of it. What are you talking about?
Oh, man.
I felt so bad. I was like, come on, Terry. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that. But I get it. At that time, everyone was just going balls to the wall and just giving it all they got or whatever's left.
Oh, my goodness.
Terry. I've seen your better matches from back in the day before we was even born, and I was just like, God damn it, Dom. What the hell you doing? Let me wrestle.
Like, I know Terry Funk could have some, great matches. See him wrestle Flair plenty of times and whatnot. But did you guys enjoy Terry, the hardcore legend? Or did you like him, having actual matches with a little edge to it?
I don't know. I was concerned because his body just didn't. He looked older than he was wrestling. It's just like, can he really keep up with these guys? I know he did in a way, but you felt like you're looking at your grandfather and you're like, hey, Pops, can you get down from there? You're kind of making me scared. He did what he did to keep that company going because he was a big name and they needed a name like that. But Terry really didn't need to do all the things he did. He sacrificed so much already throughout the years, and he really didn't have to introduce that whole hardcore style, which even though he had it from previous career when he was a hardcore guy, but that type of extreme, nah. You already put in your time. Just go in and do what you got to do, and your name alone will just sell tickets for that.
I mean, you got to remember at the time, people didn't do this, or did they? But they didn't. They didn't continuously wrestle into an older age. If it did, it was rarely. But Terry Love, Terry Funk was so beloved that especially by into his recent death, people just loved the heck out of Terry Funk, even Terry Boy from Michinoku Pro. But as a young fan watching Terry Funk, it's kind of like, why are you doing this? But I thought you were a legendary wrestler, a great wrestler back in your time. Why are you still doing this? And some people fell for the story. Still giving him one last shot
for the 5th time.
Yes, Terry Funk notorious for retiring many, many times and coming back many, many times. I don't know. I just didn't really get it. It wasn't for me. But with that attitude, I won't like the rest of this show. That's for sure.
No.
Well, this was an elimination match too, by the way.
Well, yeah, ECW was famous for that. They didn't just have one pin and that's it. They had you actually beat everybody in the ring before you actually won the title or whatever was at stake, which was completely different. They didn't have that in other companies at the time. I think it was just, like I just said, one pin and that's it. Like you didn't have to be involved to lose the title. This you had to be involved no matter what the decision was. So a completely different way of thinking, which I kind of like because it kind of pushed you to like really think like, hey, just because I eliminated this guy doesn't mean I'm safe. I still got to watch my back and keep my head on a swivel for the next guy. But like you said, what comes after this? Oof.
Yeah. So for a newcomer watching this show, did you guys think that Terry Funk would be the one to win this match? Would you think like the Sandman or Steve Richards had a chance to main event this, not knowing the outcome of this match?
If you're looking from the outside in and you've never seen a single ECW match or just the promotion itself, you would think maybe because the Blue WO is so pronounced all over the card, maybe Richards would be the one to take the win on that. We know different because we've seen ECW. We grew up on it a little bit. Sandman would have been the guy, in my opinion. But if you're looking from the outsider's perspective, I would probably think Stevie, just because Blue WO is all over the place. And Terry would be the last thought, in my opinion, just the way the age, and it's just like, really, you think he's gonna go? No.
I think you had a good mix there. You had someone on a deep sympathetic level that you could push. You could go behind Terry Funk and his story, and I would say that Sandman would probably be like the popular vote, the popular favorite to win the match. But then you can't discount the rebel upstart, if you will, of and popularity of Big Stevie Cool, the BWO. So you had a good mix of contenders there. But the person you would probably put money on the least would be Terry Funk, and that's the guy that won the match. And even before, throughout the show, throughout this pay-per-view, they had some hype videos with the Sandman. They actually had a hype video with the Sandman featuring some god-awful fake beach music for a very long time. I wonder what the real song was. They had a little bit for Terry Funk, and they had a little inset promo, backstage promo with Stevie Richards with his wild, funky crack teeth. That's what'd you get out of that promo? He needs a dentist. But Terry Funk would be the victor here, and Raven, that Johnny Polo cologne wearing weirdo, the ECW champion, he'd come out and he'd try to wrap up this Terry Funk sob fest really quickly, but that was not to be. That was not to come, because what would happen, Dom? What would happen to Raven?
Nevermore.
Raven will come out, and he beat the hell out of Terry Funk. That's what happened after this match. Yes. After the three-way dance, this match a little under 10 minutes or so, because I feel like that three-way dance that was up there. Like the last like 3 matches,
That was
they
a
went
real
like 20 minutes plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raven, he beat up a battered Terry Funk, and Raven's flock came out. Then Tommy Dreamer comes out. Tommy and Raven have a long rivalry since summer camp with Beulah and all that.
Yeah.
But but Big Dick Dudley hit Tommy with a garbage can, and because Raven was distracted, and basically, long story short, Terry Funk got the win. That's basically it. They made Terry the champion on this brand new version of ECW in their first pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Barely Legal.
Well, and then on a happy note, I guess, if you're a fan of Terry Funk, if you didn't believe in the story, then a terrible moment for you. But that's how they ended the show. And that was ECW Barely Legal.
Yes, he won with a small package. That's why he's barely legal.
Oh my God.
He's saving that one.
Yeah.
That ending, huh?
I was that was that was a layup.
But this pay-per-view as a whole, it's like again very notorious and very legendary for what it is. As a matter of fact, the generator went out on the show. They lost electricity minutes before they went on pay-per-view, and miraculously it came back on. But production-wise, quality-wise, video-wise, the show is a little hard to watch because it is a product of its time, but it's not like Turner Broadcasting was behind it. That's why you can watch Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair from Jim Crockett Promotions now, because it was filmed somewhat properly, a relic of its era. This is ECW 1997. By that point, we're used to a little bit more slick production from both WCW and the WWF. And this is ECW. And there it is. It's got Windows 95 graphics and weird camera cuts. Like the beginning of the show, the Dudleys came out, they're causing a ruckus, and then all of a sudden they throw to the opening video. And then when the opening video ends, there they are in the ring still. It's like, what's going on here? They called them the Pulp Fiction style promos, where like Stevie Richards, he would just like not look in the camera, he would just look to the side. They'd play some kind of funky music in the background, and he'd do this really long, intense promo. And they did a bunch of promos like that, and those were inset into those. And of course, the entrance music, which they had real music for most of the wrestlers, and they're dubbed over. So, for someone like, say, the Sandman, who's a big part of his act, and you take that away, the Sandman with beach surfer, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Why is this guy over? Why is this fat homeless guy over? It doesn't make sense. But with the right music, fucking enter Sandman, Metallica. It's cool. So ECW,
man, with all the sound effects.
ECW is a product of its time, and
that's way to wake up, brother.
And even some of the matches, the tone, even the Michinoku Pro 6-man tag, like fast-paced action, but fast-paced for 1997. We've seen a lot more fast-paced things on the new WWE show on X called Speed. Stay tuned for that one.
Yes, sir.
Ricochet and Dragon Lee. So
sponsored by Coke.
Sponsored by shit, I don't even remember. But overall, what do we think about this show, guys? Huh? Poppy?
It was tough to watch just because of all the chaos in it. I mean, you're so used to probably just all the rules. If you've been watching matches with rules and no chaos like we have been watching, it's like, what the hell am I getting myself into? But plus the camera angles, it kind of threw me off a little bit. It kind of upset me here and there, but not a bad pay-per-view, but not a pay-per-view I go back and watch. So it's in the somewhat matters department for me. So in our lexicon, It does matter. Somewhat matters. It doesn't matter. It somewhat matters for me.
Well, I would I bought this. I actually bought this pay-per-view on VHS from either Suncoast or FYE or whatever it was called at the time at the Crystal Mall.
Strawberries.
I remember watching it.
I miss strawberries.
I remember watching it on tape, fresh eyes, I didn't like it. And trying to watch it back now, I hated it even more. So you know what? This is a very historical show. I've said many times on this podcast already, and I can give you all the reasons why it is important, why you should watch it. But you know what? You shouldn't watch it. The show sucks. It's the worst, it's the most boring thing I've ever seen with modern eyes. I have other things to watch. I have 8 hours of real modern pro wrestling television to watch. It's WrestleMania week, man. I got better things to do than watch ECW Barely Legal. All right, so you know what? I give this show Barely Legal 1997, and it doesn't matter because there are so many other better things you can watch, and just watch those instead. Dom.
As for me, will I be watching it again? It doesn't matter because I won't be watching it again. One and done, baby.
Yes.
Over and out.
Oof.
But next week, we're going to take it to 1999. We're going back to WCW. We're going to Spring Stampede.
Yes, watch that.
Yes, this is when DDP, he wins the gold. He defeats Ric Flair, Hollywood Hogan, and Sting. We also see Goldberg going against Kevin Nash. And in the undercard, we also see our guy, Scotty Riggs.
Okay.
Let's go.
Riggs going against ECW legend, Mikey Whipwreck.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. But we also get to see Scott Steiner going against Booker T. That's going to be a good one. That's for your United States Championship.
All right. Sweetness.
So next week will matter. Spring Stampede 1999.
Yeah. Can't wait.
How you do? Yes. But until then, I am the Notorious One. I'm here with John Lee, a.k.a. Strap Facts. I'm here with the soon-to-be Poppy Platino. And we will see you next week.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. Wait for it. Boom.